Hello, guys. So today is Wednesday, November 10th, and I am not with you today. So if you need some information on what you should be doing today, this is just a little tutorial on what it is you should be doing, just in case you didn't listen or you missed out or you were absent as well. First things first, the first thing you should do is your vocab for the day. Population explosion, this should be on page 32 in your glossary. You're going to look up population explosion. You might not, you're going to have to Google that word and then figure out what that means and put that in your glossary. We're going to be saying those words quite a bit. Draw a picture of what you think that looks like. It is the Marine Corps' birthday today, so there's a cool little video about that. It's always interesting. We are going to write a CER, our first CER for this quarter. This is also going to be your first grade for this standard. All right. So we're going to practice with this. First things first, here is a practice response. So the last 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, when we were together, we were working on looking at data. So looking at data, we were looking at some graphs on what population explosion means, and we were looking at some reasons that populations increased. We were looking at the American Revolution or the Industrial Revolution, the Green Revolution, and the Agricultural Revolution. We're looking at those three things and some data on those. So you're going to use that as your evidence. So here is a response. The data supports the availability of natural resources affects human population growth. For example, in graph 1 and 2, I observed that there was an increase in population around 10,000 BC, and again, more dramatically around 1700 to 1850. In graph 3, I saw that this happened again in the last 50 years because of the Green Revolution. Thus, the evidence clearly shows through these three cases that availability of natural resources affects human population. So think about that paragraph and what would you think that CER would get you if you wrote that CER for a grade? Think about, was there a claim in there? Was there reasoning? Was there enough evidence? There was evidence. It says in graph 1 and 2, I observed. In graph 3, I observed. So there was evidence, but was there reasoning to explain what the evidence showed? And how did that evidence support the fact that natural resources affects human population? And how does it affect human population? Did it make it go up? Did it make it go down? What questions did that answer? Well, did it answer a question? Was there a claim? The claim needs to answer a question. Okay, so think about those things when you're writing this time around. All right, so I want you to think about how your evidence, how your reasoning and your evidence go together. Okay, what does your evidence tell you? How does it make sense to you? All right, so I want you to dip into that a little bit more when you're writing this time around. Here are a few sentence starters for you. If you need those, you can use those. This is the evidence. This is what I expect you to be writing about when you make your claims. I want you to specifically tell me what these three things told you about resources and human population. How do these correlate with each other? Okay. Use those resource cards that we talked about. So here is your essential question. Okay, we're going to make a model, understand how resources are used. These are the resource cards right here. So if you click on this link right here, it's going to take you to the resource cards. All right. what I've done for you is I have created a slideshow that has additional information about the agricultural revolution. So there's slides about those three things. So there's more specific information about the agricultural revolution, facts about that. There's even a video that I found for you, for those of you who need that sort of thing. There's information about the Industrial Revolution, some quick facts, and some on a video. The Green Revolution, some quick facts, and a video. All right, so there's a little bit for everybody in that information. Not only can you use this information as your evidence, but you can also use the data, okay, that we use. So you have a lot of evidence that you can use to work with your claim, okay? So you're individually writing a paragraph explaining how the evidence, the graphs and the resource cards supports the idea that the availability of natural resources affects human population, okay? So there's some more. Those are the resource cards, basically, if you can't get the links to work. So your claim is going to be human population is affected by the availability of resources, or human population is not affected by the availability of resources, okay? You must have at least 3 pieces of evidence that support your claim, okay, using the graphs and the resource cards, which I've linked here, right there, okay? You need help with your sentence starters, there's a link there, okay? And your reasoning has to tie together the claim and the evidence for what you learned. So explain how your evidence supports your claim. How do you understand that? How does what you read or what you watched on the video or what you saw on the graphs, how does that make sense? How does that answer the question? So with you or with me, you have a couple of options. Always about options, right? So you can, because I'm not with you, I don't want you to turn this in on paper, because I'm not going to be able to come in to physically get your paper. So I need you to do, for me, you can either fill it out on this Google form. You can click on this Google form and do your CER that way. Or you can do it on the Google Doc in Google Classroom. Okay, that's in Classroom. So if you go to Classroom, it should already be there. So I'm just going to click Science, first hour, go to Classwork, Unit 2. So Unit 2, Task 1. Right here, Task 1 graded. If you can just write it here. Okay. So you can write your paragraph right here and then just leave it there. And then when we do the next graded assignment, if you scroll down, evaluate is also on the same page. So then you can turn them both in at the same time. Okay. So that is your option. And then there's the rubric for it. And then I can just click on those to tell you what I'm looking for. And that way you can see my feedback as well. So while I'm away, I'm going to expect you to do your work digitally in this manner. Okay, so that's where that is. And then you're just going to, once you have both of those assignments done, then you can hit turn them in. All right, so that's what you're going to see. The PowerPoint's there. Okay, so the rubric is there, and that is basically it for the day. So get that done, and I'll put another video in for tomorrow. All right, hope you guys all do well. Thanks.